Hello students, Namaste to one and all. Myself Srisha BV. I am your NEET as well as JEE coaching faculty in the subject of physics. In the today's class, I am going to discuss the synopsis for the chapter units and measurements, and also I am going to discuss few MCQs, basic multiple choice questions, CET level questions in this chapter. So usually in this chapter, units and measurements chapter, so questions will be there only in CET as well as NEET. Okay. So students, so whether it is an CET level, CET exam or NEET exam or JEE exam, if you want to get very good ranking, if you want to score very good marks, so you should score very good marks in physics. That means if you want to score more than 550 or 600 marks in NEET, so you should score very good marks in physics also. Usually NEET students are giving more importance for the in the subject of biology as well as what, chemistry. That means they are giving, usually you are giving less importance for the physics subject. In the same way, usually JEE students are concentrating more in maths and in chemistry. So JEE students are also giving less importance in the subject of physics, for the subject of physics. That should not be happen. That means if you want to get very good ranking, whether it is an CET or JEE or NEET exam, you should give equal importance for all the three subjects. Okay. In particularly in the subject of physics, if you want to score, if you want to attain more number of problems, then for that you should understand the concepts thoroughly. Understanding the concept is very important in the subject of physics. If you are very good in mathematics, remember, listen once again, if you are very good in mathematics, then you can easily attend more number of problems in the subject of physics. Is it right? That's why in the beginning only I told, first read the synopsis, understand the synopsis properly, then you can attend any type of problem. That means whether it is in CET level problem or NEET level or JEE level problem. So CET level problem is different from that of NEET level as well as JEE level. So usually CET level common entrance test, CET level problem is 1 to 2 step problem, level 1 problem, while NEET level 2 to 3 steps problem. So level 2 or level 3 problems, while JEE mains problem is usually consists of multiple concepts, level 3 or level 4 problems, so little bit difficult when compared to CET or NEET. So that's why, so scoring in CET as well as NEET is very easy when compared to scoring in JEE mains. Okay. So first read the synopsis thoroughly. If you understand the synopsis thoroughly, then you can solve any type of problem. So first of all, I would like to welcome for this session, first session of units and measurements chapter. So first we will discuss the synopsis for this chapter. Okay. So first I am going to start with physical quantities. How do you define physical quantities? How can you define physical quantity? Any quantity which can be defined, which can be measured, are called as physical quantities. Physical quantities are those which can be measured, which are independent of all the other physical quantities. So which can explain the laws of physics, which are not independent, which may be independent or which may be dependent. In general, physical quantities means the quantities which can be measured. Any quantity which can be measured is called as a physical quantity. And by using these physical quantities, you can define any other physical quantities, or you can explain any laws of physics. By using these quantities, you can define any laws of physics. So can you give an example for a physical quantity? Any quantity which can be measured. For example, weight. It can be measured. You can measure your weight. So time taken. to go from one place to another place. You can measure there, you can record the time by using your watch or by using any stop clock. Is it right? Similarly, temperature. You can measure your body temperature. Is it right? By using thermometer. So temperature is in what? A physical quantity. Weight or mass is in physical quantity. You can measure the distance from one place to another place. Is it right? Therefore, length is also in what? Physical quantity. So force is in physical quantity. So in general, any quantity which can be measured are called as physical quantities. The quantities which can be measured, and by using these quantities you can explain any laws of physics. For example, Newton's second law of motion. So what does it states? So Newton's second law of motion gives the relation between the force, mass as well as what? Acceleration. All the three quantities, force, mass, acceleration are nothing but physical quantities. So physical quantities are nothing but any quantity which can be measured, and by using these physical quantity you can describe the laws of physics. You can explain the laws of physics. Representation of physical quantity. How can you represent? First I will write the example for physical quantity here. Examples for physical quantity. So length, mass, time, temperature are all the examples, etc. for the physical quantities. Okay. Next, when you come to the representation, how can you represent the physical quantity? After measuring a particular physical quantity, we should represent it. This is right. How can you represent? So representation of any physical quantity. So I will name that physical quantity as X. So it should be followed by a numerical value along with a unit U. Here n represents the numerical value. N represents the numerical value, where U represents the unit of that physical quantity. Is right. So for the representation of a physical quantity, we will consider numerical value as well as a unit. For example, length of a particular object is 10 meter. Length of a particular object is 10 meter. So what is 10 here? 10 is the numerical value, where meter is the unit. So here length of an object is 10 meter, means here 10 represents the numerical value here, numerical value, while meter is the unit. So what is this 10 meter? The length of the object is 10 meter. How can you define this one? Length of the object is 10 meter, which means length of that particular object is 10 times the unit of length. I will repeat once again. Here 10 meter means the length of that object is 10 times the unit of length. So that is the meaning of 10 meter. Is it right? For example, weight of your weight is around 50 kg. Weight of a particular person is 50 kg. Here 50 represents the numerical value, while kg represents the unit. Then how can you define the weight of a person is 50 kg? That means the weight of that particular person is 50 times the weight of the unit. Is it right? Unit of the weight. Weight of the person is 50 kg means weight of the person is 50 times the unit of mass. Mass of an object is 50 kg, which means mass of that particular object is 50 times the unit of mass. So this is the representation of what? A physical quantity. So any physical quantity is represented by the product of the numerical value as well as the unit. So that means this product n and u is always a constant. That means if n changes, then u also changes. But this product n into u always remains same. That means you can write this one as n1 into u1 is equal to n2 into u2. Is it right? So that means, for example, if you consider the product of two numbers, 6 into 4 is equal to 24. Is it right? So for example, if 6 becomes 8, then 4 becomes 3. So but this product once again remains how much? 24 only. That means the product of n and u always remains same. That means you can write n1 into u1 is equal to n2 into u2, or you can write this one as n is inversely proportional to u. So where n is the numerical value, where u is the unit. How these two are related? N is inversely related with unit. Larger the measurement, smaller is the numerical value. Larger the measurement, smaller is the numerical value. This is the relation between the numerical value and the unit. So this is about the physical quantity and its representation. So physical quantity means any quantity which can be measured, and by using this quantity you can define, you can explain any laws of physics. How can you represent the physical quantity? By in terms of numerical value as followed by unit. So length of the object 10 meter. 10 is the numerical value, while meter is the unit. So mass of an object 50 kg. 50 is the numerical value, kg is the unit. Is it right? Next, types of physical quantity. What are the different types of physical quantity? First one, ratio. So ratio consists of only the numerical value, but no unit. No unit, which means, so students, can you define the density? Density means what? The ratio of mass by volume. Is it right? How can you define the relative density? Relative density means, idra ಬಗ್ಗೆ detailed ಆಗಿ ನೀವು next ಓದ್ತೀರಾ. Relative density means density of object, density of a particular object with respect to the density of water. Density of object with respect to the density of water. So unit of density is what? Unit of density, kg per meter cube. So here unit gets cancelled. So this ratio is having only the numerical value. So ratio is having only the numerical value but no unit. Is it right? So similarly, can you know the definition of strain? The change in dimension to the original dimension. So it is having only the numerical value but no unit. Is it right? Next, this is about the ratio. The second type of physical quantities, that is scalar quantities. How can you define scalar? Scalars are the quantities which are having only the magnitude, but no direction. These are the physical quantities which are having only the magnitude but no direction. For example, consider a car which is moving with a speed of 30 km per hour. A car is moving with a speed of 30 km per hour. Here 30 is the numerical value, magnitude, kilometer per hour is the unit. But there is no direction. Direction is not mentioned. And hence you can consider speed as an what? Speed as an scalar quantity. Speed is an scalar quantity. Next, third type of physical quantity, vectors. Vectors are the physical quantities which are having both magnitude as well as direction. So vectors are the physical quantities which are having both magnitude as well as direction. These physical quantities are represented in both magnitude and also with the direction. Such quantities are called as vectors. For example, an object is moving with a velocity of 30 meter per second towards north. An object is moving with a speed of 30 meter per second towards north. Here 30 meter per second is the magnitude, while towards north is the direction. So example for vector: velocity, acceleration, force are the examples for vectors. This is about the types of physical quantities. Ratio, which is having only the numerical value but no unit. Scalars, which are having only the magnitude but no direction. Vectors are the physical quantities which are having both magnitude and direction. So the scalars and vectors, so this will be studied in your future classes in detail. So here I just give the definition as well as one example for scalar quantities as well as what? Vector quantities. So students, any quantity which can be measured is called as what? A physical quantity. Next, classification of physical quantities. How can you classify the physical quantities? So here the physical quantities can be classified further into two types actually. Physical quantities can be classified into two types. First one, independent quantities. Second type, dependent. Independent as well as what? Dependent quantities. So here these independent quantities are nothing but the fundamental quantities. These independent quantities are nothing but fundamental quantities, which are also called as base quantities. These dependent quantities are called as derived quantities. These are called as derived quantities. So what are these independent quantities or fundamental quantities? How can you define the fundamental quantities here? Fundamental quantities. The quantities which are independent of all the other physical quantities. The quantities which are independent of all the other physical quantities are called as fundamental quantities. That means in order to define these quantities, no need to consider other quantities. These are independent. These are free from all the other quantities which are independent of all the other quantities, and these quantities can be defined without any taking help of other quantities. Such quantities are called as fundamental quantities. These are also called as what? Base quantities. These are also called as base quantities. Why? Means by using these fundamental quantities, it is possible to explain all other dependent quantities, all other derived quantities. By using these fundamental quantities, it is possible to explain all other physical quantities or dependent quantities. Such quantities are called as fundamental quantities. So fundamental quantities means the quantities which are independent of all other physical quantities, which are independent of all other physical quantities. Example for fundamental quantities: length, mass, time, as well as temperature. Length, mass, time, as well as what? Temperature are considered as fundamental quantities. So these are the independent of all the other physical quantities, and all other physical quantities can be explained by using these quantities, and hence these quantities are called as fundamental quantities, which are also called as base quantities. Example: length, mass, as well as time, and temperature is also a fundamental quantity. Next, dependent quantities, which are also called as derived quantities. So the quantities other than the fundamental quantities, other than the fundamental quantities are called as derived quantities. The quantities other than the fundamental quantities other than fundamental quantities are called as derived quantities. These quantities can be explained. These quantities can be expressed in terms of what? Fundamental quantities. The quantities which can be explained, the quantities which can be expressed in terms of fundamental quantities are called as derived quantities, and hence these are dependent quantities. These quantities are dependent on fundamental quantities. That means these quantities can be expressed or can be explained by means of what? Fundamental quantities. Example, velocity. Velocity, how can you define the velocity? Velocity is defined as the ratio of distance traveled with respect to the time taken. Is it right? Here distance traveled, which is represented by length. Length is a fundamental quantity. Time is also in what? A fundamental quantity, and hence velocity is a derived quantity, dependent quantity. This quantity can be derived, explained, expressed by means of what? Fundamental quantities. So quantities which are other than the fundamental quantities, the quantities other than the fundamental quantities are called as derived quantities. These are dependent on fundamental quantities. These quantities can be expressed or explained in terms of fundamental quantities or by using fundamental quantities. Example, velocity, acceleration, force, work, energy, etc. Okay. Next, how can you represent these fundamental quantities? As I said earlier, these fundamental quantities are expressed with a numerical value along with a unit. So representation of fundamental quantity is done by using a numerical value followed by a unit. How can you define a unit here? What is an unit actually? What is an unit? So in order to travel from Shimoga to Bangalore, minimum 5 hours needed. Is it right? 5 to 6 hours needed. That 6 hours. 6 is the numerical value where hour is the unit. For example, weight of an particular object is 23 kg. 23 is the numerical value where kg is the unit. So similarly, length of a person is equal to 160 centimeter. 160 numerical value, centimeter is the unit. How can you define unit now? How can you define unit? So unit is defined as a standard reference. Unit is defined as standard reference. In order to represent a physical quantity, we will use a unit. Unit is an what? Unit is a reference standard. Unit is an reference standard. Instead of saying standard reference, it is an reference standard. Reference standard used to measure here. A reference standard used to measure a given physical quantity. So usually for the measurement of a physical quantity, a definite magnitude of quantity is taken as standard. For the measurement of a physical quantity, usually a definite magnitude of quantity is taken as standard. Definite magnitude of quantity is taken as standard. This standard is given by the name unit. This standard is named as a unit. So unit is defined as a reference standard in order to measure a given physical quantity. So, for the measurement of a given physical quantity, normally we will use a definite magnitude of quantity. Definite magnitude of quantity is taken as standard. That standard is given by the name as unit. So, it's right. So, this is about the classification of physical quantities, dependent, independent as well as dependent. Independent quantities are nothing but the fundamental quantities. So, where dependent quantities are called as derived quantities. So, definition followed by the examples, here also the definition followed by the examples and unit. So, normally unit means, unit is defined as what? A reference standard, for the measurement of a given physical quantity. Okay. So, unit is a reference standard used for the measurement of a given physical quantity. What are the different properties of units? So, first one, properties of units here. First one, the units should be well defined. Unit should be well defined. Second one, it should be having a suitable size. Suitable size. Okay. Next, it should not changes with time. It should not change with respect to time. Okay. It should not changes with physical conditions. It should not change with physical conditions like pressure, temperature, etc. Next one, it should be universally acceptable. It should be universally acceptable throughout the world. The unit should be acceptable. So, first one, it should be well defined. It must having a suitable size. Size should not be very large or very small. And it should not changes with time as well as physical conditions like pressure as well as what? Temperature. And more importantly, the unit should be universally acceptable. That particular unit must be followed by each and every one throughout the world. So, this is about the properties of a unit. Next, types of units. Types of units. So, there are two types. First one, fundamental units. Fundamental units. How can you define the fundamental units? The units of the fundamental quantities. Units of fundamental quantities. Units of fundamental quantities are called as fundamental units. What are fundamental quantities? Length, mass as well as what? Time are taken as fundamental quantities, and the units of length, mass as well as what? Time are taken as fundamental units. So, unit of length meter, unit of mass kilogram, unit of time second. So, these units are called as what? Fundamental units. Is right. So, example, so usually unit of length, mass as well as time. Units of length, mass as well as time are taken as fundamental units. These are also called as base units. Second type, derived units. Derived units. So, the units of the quantities other than fundamental quantities. The units of the quantities other than fundamental quantities are called as derived units, or these units can be derived by using fundamental units. The units which can be derived by using fundamental units are called as derived units. Example, force. How can you represent force? Force can be represented as mass into acceleration. Is it right? So, you know the unit of mass here, kg. Acceleration can be represented by as velocity with respect to time. Is it right? So, that means kg. So, now mass is represented in terms of kilogram. Velocity. Velocity means distance traveled with respect to time. So, that means it can be written as distance meter, kg meter per second square. So, this is the unit of what? Mass. Is it right? Similarly, you can define speed. Speed can be defined as ratio of distance traveled with respect to time. Is it right? Unit of speed is meter per second. Is it right? Meter per second. Similarly, unit of force is kg meter per second square. So, the units of derived quantities are called as derived units, or the units which can be derived by using fundamental units are called as derived units. The units of the fundamental quantities are called as fundamental units. So, usually the units of length, mass as well as what? Time are taken as fundamental units, while the units of derived quantities are the units which can be derived by using the fundamental quantities are called as derived units. Next, types of units are here system of units. System of units. So, the collection of both fundamental units and derived units are called as system of units. So, it is a complete set of both fundamental units, complete set of both fundamental units as well as derived units is called as system of units. System of units is the collection, or it is a complete set of fundamental units and derived units is called as system of units. So, students, a complete set of fundamental units and derived units for all the physical quantities is called as system of units. So, commonly used system of units. First one, CGS system. CGS system. In this system, length, mass as well as time. Length, mass as well as time are taken as fundamental units. So, length, mass as well as time are taken as fundamental quantities here. Here, length is expressed in terms of centimeter, mass is expressed in terms of grams, and time is expressed in terms of seconds. In this system, length, mass and time are taken as fundamental quantities, and these length, mass and time are expressed in terms of centimeter, gram as well as second. That means, in this system, unit of length is centimeter, unit of mass is gram and unit of time is second. Second type of system, MKS system. MKS system. In this system also, length, mass and time are taken as fundamental quantities. In this system, length is expressed in terms of meter, mass is expressed in terms of kilogram, time is expressed in terms of seconds, which means the unit in this system, unit of length is meter, unit of mass is kilogram, unit of time is second. Next, third one, SI system. SI system, International System of Units. In this system also, length, mass and time, length, mass and time are taken as fundamental quantities. It is a modified version of MKS system. Here also length is expressed in terms of meter, mass is expressed in terms of kilogram, time is expressed in terms of seconds, which means in this system unit of length is meter, unit of mass is kilogram, unit of time is second. Okay. So in SI system there are 7 quantities. In SI system there are 7 fundamental quantities. In SI system there are 7 fundamental quantities. In the first column I will write fundamental quantity. Second one, unit. Third one, symbol. First one, so first fundamental quantity in SI system, that is length. Unit of length is meter. Unit of length is here meter. Symbol is M in SI system. Second one, second physical quantity, fundamental quantity, mass. Unit kilogram. Symbol kg. Next, third fundamental quantity, time. Unit second, symbol S, small s. Next, similarly, fourth one, electric current. Electric current, students, what is the unit of electric current? You all know, that is ampere, symbol capital A. Next, temperature. Temperature, unit of temperature in SI system is Kelvin. Here symbol is capital K. Next, amount of substance. Amount of substance, mole. Unit symbol MO. Next, last one, luminous intensity. Luminous intensity. Before going to write the unit as well as symbol, how can you define intensity? Intensity in general means the amount of energy received per second per unit area. Is it right? So then what is this luminous intensity? So this term usually related with a light source. How much light energy emitted by a source, how much light energy emitted by a particular source will be indicated by a term that is luminous intensity. Okay. So luminous intensity unit candela, symbol C. These are the 7 fundamental quantities in SI system. 7 fundamental quantities of SI system. First one, length. In SI system, unit of length is meter, while in CGS system unit of length is which one? Centimeter. Unit of mass, kilogram, symbol kg. Length is represented in terms of meter, symbol is m, small m. Mass is represented by the unit kg, kilogram, symbol is kg. Time, second, symbol is s. Electric current, unit ampere, symbol capital A. Temperature, degree Celsius is not the SI unit. SI unit of temperature is Kelvin, symbol capital K. Amount of substance, mole, symbol MOL. Similarly, luminous intensity, candela, that is CT. This is about the commonly used system of units: CGS system, MKS system, SI system. SI system is the modified version of MKS system. Nowadays we are using which system? SI system. So along with these 7 fundamental quantities or 7 units, there are 2 supplementary units are also there. 2 supplementary units. First one, for phase angle. What do you mean by phase angle? The angle formed by 2 lines intersecting at a common point. The angle between the 2 lines which are intersecting at a common point is called as phase angle. The unit of phase angle is radian. Symbol is RAD. Next one, solid angle. How can you define solid angle? The angle formed by 3 or more planes. The angle formed by 3 or more planes which are intersecting at a common point. That angle is called as solid angle. Unit steradian, symbol SR. The angle formed by 2 or more planes intersecting at a common point. So these 2 are supplementary units. These 2 are supplementary units. So phase angle means the angle formed by 2 lines which are intersecting at a common point. Solid angle means the angle formed by 2 or more planes intersecting at a common point. Radian, RAD, steradian, SR. So students, in physics usually we come across many situations where there is a necessity of measurement of a very small quantity as well as what? Measurement of very large quantity also. ತುಂಬ ಕಡಿಮೆ ಇರೋ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿನೂ ಮೆಜರ್ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಾಗತ್ತೆ. ಅಟ್ ದ ಸೇಮ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಇನ್ ಸಮ್ ಕೇಸಸ್ ದೇರ್ ಇಸ್ ಎ ನೆಸೆಸಿಟಿ ಆಫ್ ಮೆಜರ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಆಫ್ ವೆರಿ ಲಾರ್ಜ್ ಕ್ವಾಂಟಿಟಿ ಆಲ್ಸೋ. So that's why usually we will use prefixes. That is about SI prefixes. SI prefixes. Okay. So power of 10, the first column. Next, prefix as well as symbol. Prefix as well as symbol. That means we are measuring the physical quantity from micro to macro range. Micro to macro range. 10 power minus 6 to what? 10 power plus 6 also is right. So in SI prefixes, 10 power 18. 10 power 18 is designated as hexa, symbol capital E. Hexa, that is symbol capital E. 10 power 15 peta, capital P. 10 power 12 giga, capital G. 10 power 9, 10 power 9 is given by 10 power 12 is tera, capital T. 10 power 9 means giga, capital G. 10 power 6 mega, capital M. 10 power 3 kilo, small k. 10 power 2 hecto, capital H. 10 power 1 deca. 10 power 1 is deca here, symbol DA. 10 power minus 1 deci. Is it right? 10 power 1 is deci, small d. 10 power minus 2 centi, small c. 10 power minus 3 milli, small m. 10 power minus 6 micro, mu. 10 power minus 9 nano, nanometer. Is it right? Nanometer. Next, similarly, 10 power minus 12. 10 power minus 12 is given by pico. Pico, small p. 10 power minus 15 femto, F. 10 power minus 18 atto, A. So here 10 power 18 means hexa, symbol E. 10 power 15 peta, P. 10 power 12 tera, T. 10 power 9 giga, G. 10 power 6 mega, M. 10 power 3 kilo, you know that, K. 10 power 2 hecto, H. 10 power 1 deca, DA. 10 power minus 1, you know that, deci, D. 10 power minus 2 centi, C. 10 power minus 3 milli, small m. 10 power minus 6 micro, mu. 10 power minus 9 nano, that is N. 10 power minus 12 pico, that is P. 10 power minus 15 femto, F. 10 power minus 18, that is atto, A. So next, students, some important practical units. If you want to measure very large distance, then usually we will use astronomical unit. So how can you define one astronomical unit? So astronomical unit is nothing but the average distance between the center of the earth and the center of the sun. The average distance between the center of the earth and the center of the sun is nothing but astronomical unit. So one astronomical unit means 1 AU. 1 astronomical unit means 1.496 into 10 power 11 meter. That means if you want to represent the distance to a particular star as well as sun, distance to a star or a planet, then normally we will use astronomical unit. The value of one astronomical unit is 1.496 into 10 power plus 11 meter. Similarly, light year. So distance traveled by the light in 1 year. So distance traveled by the light in vacuum in 1 year is called as light year. Distance traveled by the light in vacuum in 1 year is called as light year. 1 light year is given by the value, that is 9.46 into 10 power 15 meter. Similarly, 1 parsec value is given by 1 parsec value is given by 1 parsec value is given by 3.1 into 10 power 16 meter. So usually 1 parsec is given by 3.1 into 10 power 16 meter. Next, similarly, for the measurement of very small distance. So usually for the measurement of very small distance, we will consider 1 micron. 1 micron means how much? 10 power minus 6 meter. 1 nanometer. 1 nanometer means 10 power minus 9 meter. 1 Fermi. 1 Fermi means 10 power minus 15 meter. This is about for the measurement of very small distance. For very small area, 1 barn. 1 barn is equal to 10 power minus 28 meter square, I think. 1 barn value is 10 power minus 28 meter square. Similarly, for the measurement of heavy mass, 1 quintal. 1 quintal means how much? 100 kg, 100 kilogram. 1 ton. 1 ton means 10 quintal, that is how much? 1000 kilogram. For the measurement of very small mass, that means if you want to measure the mass of an atom or nucleus, normally we will use a unit that is called as atomic mass unit. Value of 1 AMU, 1 atomic mass unit, is given by 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. 1.67 into 10 power minus 27 kg. Next, for the measurement of pressure, normally pressure is measured by using a device which is called as barometer. 1 atmospheric pressure or 1 bar, value of 1 bar is equal to 1 atmosphere is equal to 1 into 10 power 5 Newton per meter square. Value of 1 bar or 1 atmospheric pressure is 10 power 5 Newton per meter square. So it can also be represented in terms of millimeter of Hg, mercury, that is 760 mm of Hg. Other units of pressure are torr as well as what? Poisson. Torr is another unit which is used to measure the pressure. 1 torr is equal to how much? 1 mm of Hg. 1 into 10 power 5 Newton per meter square, that is equal to 760 mm of Hg. So 1 torr is equal to 1 mm of Hg. This is about some important practical units. Okay students, next the standard definition for length of 1 meter, mass of 1 kg as well as time interval of 1 second. How can you define 1 meter length, 1 kg mass as well as 1 second time? So first, standard meter. So here standard meter, that is nothing but the length. Standard meter is represented in terms of wavelength of light. Standard meter is represented, or 1 meter is usually represented in terms of wavelength of light. So 1 meter is defined as distance traveled by the light in vacuum in 1 by 299792458 per second. So I will write here 1 meter length is defined as 1 meter length is defined as distance traveled by the light, distance traveled by light, distance traveled by light in vacuum in 1 by 299792458 second. part of a second. So how can you define 1 meter length? 1 meter length is defined as the distance traveled by the light in vacuum in 1 by 299792458 part of a second. That is the definition of 1 meter length. Similarly, how can you define mass of 1 kg? So here 1 kg mass is defined as the mass of platinum iridium alloy. So here 1 kg mass is the mass of platinum iridium alloy kept at International Bureau of Weights and Measures is defined as 1 kg. Mass of platinum iridium alloy which is kept at International Bureau of Weights and Measures is defined as 1 kg. So 1 kg mass is nothing but here, so mass of a cylinder, it is nothing but mass of a cylinder made of platinum iridium alloy kept at International Bureau of Weights and Measures is defined as 1 kg. So mass of a cylinder made of platinum iridium alloy kept at International Bureau of Weights and Measures is defined as 1 kg, and here it can also be defined as mass of 1 kg is defined as mass of 5.0188 into 10 power 1 point, here mass of 5.0188, mass of 5.0188 into 10 power 25 atoms of carbon 12. At atomic level, on atomic scale, 1 kg is defined as the mass of 5.0188 into 10 power 25 atoms of carbon 12 isotope. Next, similarly, time. 1 second. How can you define 1 second here? 1 second is defined as the time interval of 1 second is defined as 1 second is defined as the time interval. 1 second is defined as the time interval of 919263, time interval of 9192637770, 91926316317770 vibrations of radiation, in cesium 133 atom, This is about the standard definition for length of 1 meter, which is nothing but the distance traveled by the light in vacuum in 1 by 299792458 part of a second, and the standard definition of mass of 1 kg is nothing but 1 kg is defined as the mass of a cylinder which is made up of platinum iridium alloy kept at International Bureau of Weights and Measures. On atomic scale, 1 kg mass is nothing but 5.0188 into 10 power 25 atoms of carbon 12, where here time of 1 second is defined as the time interval of 9192631770 vibrations of radiations in cesium 133 atom. Okay students, next I am going to discuss few multiple choice questions. So simple questions. So these questions may or may not be asked in CET level exam, CET exam. So easy questions ಆಗಿರೋದ್ರಿಂದ just ನಿಮ್ಗೆ in order to understand the concepts clearly, these questions will be discussed here. So read the question. So these questions are given in your college coaching material also, same questions here, simple questions. So CET level questions, I am repeatedly telling. So these are simple questions. So how many number of units in SI system? In SI system, how many number of units are there? 7 fundamental units are there, and hence option B is the right answer. So already we discussed. So this while discussing the synopsis. So 7 fundamental units: length, mass, time, temperature, electric current, amount of substance, as well as luminous intensity. So option B, 7. Second question. 1 second, definition of 1 second. 1 second is defined to be equal to, read the options. So 4 options are given here. You are asked to choose one correct option among the 4 given options. So 1650763.73 periods of the Krypton clock, 652189.63 periods of the Krypton clock, or 1650763.73 periods of the cesium clock, or 9192631770 periods of the cesium clock. So we already discussed this one in the synopsis. That is option D is the right answer. 9192631770 vibrations of radiation in cesium 133 atom. That is nothing but 91926370 periods of the cesium clock. Option D is the right answer. Move to the next question. 1 picofarad is equal to 1 pico. 1 pico means how much? 10 power minus 12 farad. Farad is the unit of capacitance, right? So 1 picofarad means 10 power minus 12 farad, and hence option C will be the right answer. Is it right? Okay, I'll move to the next question. So normally in order to measure the length, we will use the meter as a unit in SI system. So 1 yard in SI units is equal to how many meter? What is the relation between yard and the meter? So whether it is equal to 1.9144 meter or 0.9144 meter or 0.09144 meter or 1.0936 kilometer. So 1 yard in SI system is equal to how much? 0.9144 meter, which means option B will be the right answer. Next question, I will move to the next question. Unit of surface tension. You are asked to choose the option which relates the unit of surface tension. How do you define surface tension usually? So this topic will be discussed in your future classes in second volume. So surface, first, how do you define tension? Tension is nothing but what? Tension is nothing but force. Surface tension means force acting per unit length on the surface of the water. Force acting on unit length on the free surface of the water is called as surface tension. So definition of surface tension means force acting per unit length. Force per unit length. So what is the SI unit of force? Newton. Unit of length? Meter. Therefore unit of surface tension is Newton per meter, and hence option A will be the right answer. Option A will be the right answer. So surface tension means force acting per unit length on either side of the imaginary line drawn on the free surface of the water. So that is force acting per unit length. Unit of force is Newton, unit of length is meter. Unit of stress. How can you define stress? So this is also you are going to discuss this concept in the second volume of the first PUC chapter, first PUC syllabus. So stress means in general force acting per unit area. internal force acting per unit area. Force acting per unit area or internal force acting per unit area, and therefore unit of force is Newton, unit of area is meter square, and hence Newton per meter square is the unit of stress, and hence option C is the right answer. Option C is the right answer. Simple questions. Next one, read the question. Torr is the unit of pressure, volume, density or flux. So torr, usually pressure is represented in terms of what? Bar. So torr is also in what? Another unit of pressure. Torr is also another unit of pressure, and hence option A will be the right answer. Option A is the right answer. Next one, which one of the following given option is not the unit of Young's modulus? So first I will explain what you mean by Young's modulus. Young's modulus is defined as the ratio of stress to strain. Is it right? The ratio of stress to strain is called as Young's modulus. Here stress is nothing but force acting per unit area. Force acting per unit area is the stress. Here where strain is the change in dimension to original dimension. Change in dimension divided by original dimension. Is it right? Which means strain is an unitless quantity. Strain is an unitless quantity. So unit of dimension here gets cancelled here, which means here unit of Young's modulus is nothing but unit of stress, which is nothing but force acting per unit area. Here force per unit area, Young's modulus is nothing but Newton per meter square. Therefore, in the option B, Newton per meter square is the unit of Young's modulus. Dyne per centimeter square is also in what? Unit of Young's modulus. Why means dyne is the unit of force in CGS system. Centimeter is the unit of length in CGS system. Therefore, dyne per centimeter square is also an unit of what? Young's modulus. Megapascal is also an unit of what? Young's modulus, where Newton per meter is not the unit of Young's modulus, and hence option A will be the right answer. Young's modulus means stress by strain. Strain is an unitless quantity. Therefore, unit of Young's modulus is nothing but unit of stress, that is nothing but force per unit area, that is nothing but Newton per meter square. Dyne per centimeter square, megapascals are the unit of Young's modulus, where Newton per meter square is not the unit of Young's modulus. That's right. Option A will be the right answer. Next question, read the question. Electron volt is the unit of potential difference, charge, energy, capacity. So electron volt is actually the unit of what? Potential difference, and hence option A will be the right answer. You are going to study this concept in your second PU syllabus. Okay. Which one of the following is the unit of molar gas constant? So students, usually there are two types of gases. One is the ideal gas and the another one is the real gas. Is it right? So whatever the gases present in our nature are nothing but the real gases. So ideal gases actually does not exist in our nature. Ideal gas equation is given by PV is equal to nRT. I think CBSE students already you studied this concept in your high school classes. Is it right? The relation between the pressure, volume and temperature is nothing but ideal gas equation. Ideal gas equation. Is it right? So this equation relates pressure, volume, where n represents the number of moles, R universal gas constant, T temperature. Therefore, molar gas constant R is equal to PV divided by NT. PV divided by NT. So here PV is nothing but joule, work done, which is nothing but represented by joule, where N represents the number of moles, where T represents temperature, which is given by Kelvin. Therefore, unit of ideal gas constant, molar gas constant, joule per mole per Kelvin, joule per mole per Kelvin, and hence option A will be the right answer. Joule per mole per Kelvin is the right answer. So, universal gas constant or molar gas constant means R, which is nothing but PV divided by NT. It is an ideal gas equation. You are going to study this in your further classes in detail. Okay. Option A will be the right answer. Is it clear? I will move to the next question. One unified atomic mass unit is equal to, that means what is the definition of 1 AMU? So usually atomic masses as well as nuclear masses are represented by atomic mass unit. One atomic mass unit is nothing but 1 by 12 times the mass of an atom of carbon 12. So this is the definition of one atomic mass unit. One atomic mass unit is defined as 1 by 12 times mass of one atom of carbon 12, and hence option C is the right answer. That is 1 by 12 of the mass of one atom of carbon 12. Option C is the right answer. So here there are two statements are given. So you are choose to select the option whether both the statements are correct or whether only one statement is correct and the other statement is wrong, whether the statement 1 is correct and the statement 2 is correct, and whether statement 2 is correct explanation for first one or not. So first statement, when we change the unit of a measurement of a quantity, the numerical value also changes. Second statement, smaller the unit of measurement, smaller is its numerical value. So students, we already discussed in the synopsis. So a physical quantity is represented by a numerical value along with a unit, and this product of numerical value and the unit is always constant. The product of the numerical value and the unit is always constant. How these two are related? N is inversely proportional to U, which means when we change the unit of measurement of a quantity, what about the numerical value? Whether it changes or not, unit also changes. When we change the unit of measurement of a quantity, numerical value also changes. That means statement 1 is correct. Statement 1 is correct. What about the second statement? Smaller the unit of measurement, smaller is its numerical value. Smaller the unit of measurement, what about the numerical value? Whether it is greater or smaller? Actually it is greater. Smaller the unit of measurement, greater will be the numerical value, and hence statement 2 is wrong. Statement 2 is incorrect, while statement 1 is correct. And in your coaching material it is given. So that is question number, which one I will tell you here, question number 19. When we change the unit of a measurement of a quantity, its numerical value changes. Smaller the unit of a measurement, smaller is its numerical value. Statement 1 is correct, statement 2 is wrong. Statement 1 is true, but statement 2 is false, and hence option C is the right answer. Option C will be the right answer. It's clear? Nu is equal to constant, therefore as U changes, N also changes. Statement 1 correct, statement 1 is true. Statement 2, here smaller the unit, as U is small, N should be large, but here N is also given as small, and hence statement 2 is incorrect or false. Option C will be the right answer.